My name is Sarah Calloway. I'm 34 years old. And according to the internet, I died 3 years ago. I didn't find out from a phone call. I didn't find out from a friend. I found out on a Tuesday afternoon, sitting at my kitchen table, coffee going cold, when I typed my own name into Google and saw my obituary staring back at me. Date of death. Cause of death. A whole farewell written by someone who wanted me erased. My hands didn't shake. I just went completely still. Because the name in that obituary wasn't just mine. The details, the small, specific details, could only have come from someone who knew me. Someone close. Someone who had been watching my life carefully enough to write the ending of it. And here's what nobody knew yet, I had already started saving screenshots. Before I tell you what actually happened, if you're new here, please like this video and subscribe. Drop a comment below, where are you watching from? I want to know. Now let me take you back to the moment my life split in two. I want you to do something right now. Open a new tab. Type your full name into Google. Scroll past the LinkedIn, past the Facebook. Now ask yourself, do you actually know everything that's out there about you? Because I thought I did. I was wrong. Before that Tuesday, I was nobody special. 34. Graphic designer. Paid my bills. Called my mother on Sundays. I was not the kind of person things happen to. Then things happened to me. What would you do if you found proof that someone had declared you dead, not yesterday, not last week, but years ago? What if mourners had already grieved you? What if people had already said their goodbyes, cried their tears, and moved on, while you were alive, completely unaware, feeding your cat? What if the person who wrote your obituary knew your middle name? Knew your childhood street? Knew the name of your first dog? That's not a stranger. That's someone who studied you. Someone who decided quietly, deliberately, that you needed to be removed from the world. Not physically. Something slower. Something that leaves no fingerprints. I didn't know any of this yet. I just knew the coffee was cold. And my name was on a death notice. And I couldn't stop reading it. It started with a freelance client. New project. Standard stuff. They always Google you before they sign. So I did what any professional does, I checked my own search results first. Cleaned them up if needed. Make sure nothing embarrassing was sitting on page 1. I typed my name. Hit enter. Third result down. Sarah Calloway, beloved daughter, friend, and creative soul. Passed away peacefully on March 14, 2021. She is survived by... I laughed. Actually laughed. Thought it was someone else. Same name, different person. Happens all the time. Then I saw my city. My profession. Graphic designer. I stopped laughing. I clicked it. Full obituary. 2 paragraphs. Specific. Detailed. The kind of details that don't come from guessing. It mentioned my love for early morning walks. It mentioned my rescue cat. It mentioned a trip I took to Portugal in 2019 that I had posted about exactly once, in a since-deleted Instagram story. Someone had been paying attention. For how long I didn't know yet. But they had built something. A record. A farewell. A version of my life with an ending already written. I sat there for 11 minutes before I moved. Then I opened a new document and started copying everything. I called my best friend Maya first. Told her to Google my name. Heard her go quiet on the other end. That silence told me everything. It was real. It was findable. Anyone searching for me, clients, old friends, family, had been landing on that page. For years. I needed to understand who does something like this. Financial identity theft, I understood that. Hack an account, steal a number, drain a balance. Cold. Calculated. But this wasn't about money. Nobody was cashing checks in my name. Nobody was opening credit cards. This was about something else entirely. This was about erasure. Whoever wrote that obituary didn't want my bank account. They wanted my existence. They wanted the world to believe I was gone, quietly, completely, without a single confrontation. No argument. No explanation. Just, Sarah Calloway is no longer here. Move on. And the terrifying part? It was working. That freelance client never signed. I found out 2 weeks later they had Googled me, seen the obituary, assumed it was real, and moved on to someone else. No phone call. No question. Just gone. One webpage. No argument needed. I started making a list of everyone who might have searched my name in the last 3 years. The list got long fast. The obituary was posted March 2021. I found it October 2023. 2 years and 7 months of my digital death running quietly in the background while I lived my actual life completely unaware. I started digging. The obituary wasn't alone. Someone had posted it across 3 different memorial websites. One had a comments section. I opened it expecting nothing. 14 comments. People I didn't recognize leaving condolences. Strangers who had apparently known a version of me or thought they had. One comment said she was taken too soon. Another said, I'll never forget her kindness. A woman named Patricia had posted a small prayer. I didn't know Patricia. Patricia had grieved me. I kept scrolling. Found a Facebook memorial group. 12 members. Posts going back 2 years. Photos lifted directly from my Instagram, my face, my cat, my Portugal trip, repurposed into a tribute page for a dead woman who was currently sitting in her apartment reading all of it. My hands finally started shaking. Not from fear. From the specific, nauseating feeling of watching your own life being handled by someone else. Arranged. Curated. Closed off. Whoever did this hadn't acted impulsively. This was maintained. Tended to. Like a grave someone kept coming back to visit. I need to stop here for a second. Because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is rare. You're thinking this is extreme. You're thinking this would never happen to me. I thought that too. Here's what I need you to understand. You do not know what exists about you online right now. Not fully. Search engines index thousands of pages daily. Memorial sites require 0 verification. Anyone can post an obituary in your name, your real city, your real profession, and it goes live instantly. No ID check. No death certificate. No confirmation call. Nothing. So when did you last Google yourself? Not a quick glance. A real search. Page 2. Page 3. Different browsers. Your name plus your city. Your name plus your job title. Because that freelance client of mine didn't question it. They saw the result, assumed it was real, and walked away. That's how most people respond. They don't investigate. They don't call. They just quietly update their understanding of your existence. And move on. Right now, somewhere, someone could be reading about your death. A version of you written by someone else, already filed away on a website that gets indexed every single day. You wouldn't know. I didn't. Now back to what I found next, because it gets worse. I couldn't wait for someone to help me. So I started myself. First thing I did was check the memorial sites for account information. Most were locked. But one, a smaller site, poorly maintained, had a public profile attached to the post. Username: Remembering Sarah 2021. Account created March 13, 2021. One day before my listed death date. Whoever this was, they had planned the timing. I ran the username through every platform I could think of. Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, old forum sites. Nothing came back immediately. But on a grief support forum, buried in a thread from 2021, the same username had commented once. A single reply to another user's post about loss. The comment said, sometimes people leave and the world just has to accept it. I screenshot it. Saved it. Kept moving. The Facebook memorial group was more useful. Whoever managed it had made one mistake. A single post in the group's early days was set to public instead of private. It contained a photo. Not of me. A background detail. A window. A specific view of a street I recognized immediately. Not because I'd visited it. Because I'd grown up 2 blocks from it. My chest tightened. This wasn't random. This wasn't a stranger from the internet. Whoever did this knew exactly where I came from. I sat with that photo for a long time. The street in the background. The familiar roofline. The specific angle that only made sense if you knew that neighborhood. I had maybe 30 people in my life who could place that street without a map. 30 people who knew my middle name, my childhood address, my first dog. I wrote all 30 names down. Then I started eliminating. Who had access to my old Instagram before I made it private? Who knew about the Portugal trip? Who would have the patience, the specific, cold patience, to maintain a fake memorial for nearly 3 years? This wasn't rage. Rage burns fast. Rage sends an angry text at 2 a.m. and regrets it by morning. This was something quieter. More deliberate. The kind of feeling that gets organized, gets structured, builds a timeline, picks a death date, writes 2 careful paragraphs, and then tends it quietly for years. This was about control. Specifically controlling how the world saw me. Not hurting me physically. Not confronting me directly. Just slowly, invisibly dismantling my credibility. My professional presence. My right to simply exist in people's searches without a death notice attached. Someone wanted me professionally dead. Socially dead. Digitally buried. And they were patient enough to wait and see if it worked. I was down to 9 names. I called the police on a Wednesday morning. Sat across from an officer who typed slowly and asked me to repeat myself twice. So nothing was stolen? No. No financial fraud? No. No physical threat? No. He nodded slowly, clicked his pen, told me it sounded like a civil matter, suggested I contact the websites directly to request removal, handed me a printed sheet about online harassment that looked like it hadn't been updated since 2009. I called a lawyer next. She was kind. She was also honest. There was no clean legal category for what had been done to me. Defamation required proving damages. Harassment required direct contact. Identity theft required financial loss. What I had was technically none of those things. It's a gap in the law, she said. It exists. It's just not filled yet. I contacted all 3 memorial sites. 2 responded within a week and removed the posts. The 3rd sent an automated reply and never followed up. The obituary stayed live for another 41 days while I sent follow-up emails into silence. The Facebook group disappeared overnight with no explanation. But the damage was already indexed, cached, copied. Google still showed the result for 11 more weeks. I was being erased in slow motion and the system kept handing me pamphlets. Let me tell you what nobody warns you about. The obituary came down. The memorial group disappeared. On paper, resolved. Move on. Close the tab. Except I couldn't get a call back from a studio I'd been chasing for 8 months. A collaborator I'd worked with for 3 years went suddenly quiet. An old college friend sent me a message that said, and I remember every word, I saw something online a while back. I didn't want to bring it up. Are you okay? She had known for 14 months. She hadn't said anything. That's the part nobody talks about. The obituary was 1 page. But the people who saw it and believed it and quietly updated their understanding of my existence, those conversations never happened. Those assumptions never got corrected. You can delete a web page. You cannot delete what it already did to the people who read it. I lost 2 clients, I can confirm. Probably more I'll never know about. My name still autocompletes strangely on certain platforms for months afterward. One industry directory had listed me under a deceased professionals section. I found that one by accident. 6 months after the obituary was removed. Still live. Still indexed. Right now I need to tell you who did this. Because when I found out, I didn't see it coming at all. I was down to 4 names. I hired a digital forensics consultant, a woman named Diane who found things people didn't know they'd left behind. She traced the memorial account through 3 layers of proxy emails back to a single IP address, ran it against public records, cross-referenced the Facebook group's metadata. She called me on a Thursday evening. Do you know someone named Claire Morrow? I stopped breathing for a second. Claire Morrow. My cousin. 37 years old. We had grown up 6 houses apart. Shared Christmases, summer holidays, a grandmother we both adored. We had drifted in our 20s, different cities, different lives, but never badly. No argument. No falling out. Or so I thought. Diane sent me the full report. The account creation. The post history. The careful maintenance of the memorial page across 2 years and 7 months. Every condolence comment responded to. Every photo personally selected from my archived Instagram. Claire had kept a folder. Diane found traces of it in the metadata. Organized. Labeled. Dated. She hadn't acted in a moment of anger. She had planned it the way you plan something you intend to finish. I sat with Claire's name on my screen for a long time. Then I picked up my phone. And I called her. She answered on the 2nd ring. Claire didn't deny it. That was the part that stayed with me longest. No shock. No confusion. Just a long silence, and then, I wondered when you'd find it. I hung up. Couldn't speak. Couldn't process it yet. But I needed to do something with my hands, so I went back online. Started searching. Not for Claire. For others. Because by this point something had been nagging at me, a forensics forum Diane had mentioned, a thread she'd flagged, but I hadn't opened yet. I opened it. 43 pages long. Dozens of cases. Different countries. Different names. Same pattern. Fake obituaries. Memorial pages. Death dates selected deliberately. Maintained quietly. Discovered by accident, a Google search, a client callback that never came, a friend's uncomfortable silence. One woman in Manchester found hers 5 years after it was posted. A man in Ontario discovered a full memorial website, photos, tributes, a fabricated cause of death, created by a former business partner. In almost every case, someone close. Someone with access. Someone patient. In almost every case, the same institutional response. No clear law. No fast removal. No category. This had a pattern long before I stumbled into it. And the people doing it knew exactly how little consequence they faced. Claire had known that too. I was about to make sure she understood that had changed. I documented everything. Every screenshot. Every cached page. Every email sent into silence. Diane's full report. The metadata. The folder Claire had kept. 2 years and 7 months of evidence, organized, labeled, dated. The same way Claire had organized hers. I filed a formal complaint with every platform. Sent Diane's report to 3 separate lawyers until one found an angle. Intentional interference with business relations. Not perfect, but something. I went public. Not loudly. One post. My name, my story, the screenshots. No accusations beyond what I could prove. Within 48 hours it had been shared 900 times. My inbox filled with names I didn't recognize, people who had found similar pages, similar patterns, similar silences from authorities. Patricia, the woman who had left a prayer on my memorial, found my post and messaged me directly. She had been part of an online grief community. Someone had submitted my obituary to the group. She had mourned a stranger based on 2 paragraphs and a stolen photograph. She apologized. She didn't need to. She had done nothing wrong. Claire and I have not spoken since that phone call. I still Google my name every Monday morning. First thing. Coffee's still hot. Because here's what 3 years of being digitally dead taught me. Your online existence needs tending. Nobody is watching it for you. Nobody was watching mine. Until someone decided to bury it.